Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Eric McLeod here for LowBlowRadio podcast. We're going to try something a little different here tonight. It's just me here. I'm going to do a little solo blow-by-blow of AEW Dark. I'm a big Dark fan, so I wanted to use this platform to talk about it a little bit more. We're going to talk about episode 41 here tonight. It was on July 7th, 2020. I just checked it out. And man, what a kickoff we had with the first appearance of Brian Pillman Jr. versus Shawn Spears. Now, Brian, of course, a big guy in the indies, someone a lot of people have been talking about. He appeared at All Out, or All In, I believe, for the buy-in Battle Royal, one of those things. So he's made an appearance in the AEW ether early on before the incarnation of AEW. Great to see him here in his first sort of official match here on Dark. It was a quick one against Shawn Spears. Again, I think this was more laid into what Shawn Spears is trying to do, get over the glove and stuff like that. But still great to see Brian Pillman. I think hopefully we get to see him out there more. Shawn won the match. It was a quick little 5-minute encounter between these two, and he got back in there, laid him out with the glove. So yeah, this is definitely keeping Spears. These nice wins on Dark are just keeping his numbers up, keeping him ranked in the top 10, keeping him talked about so that they can use him when he's best sort of utilized, right? So next match we had the debuting Rochelle Chanel. I mean, make sure I try to get that right as best I can. They were struggling on commentary too. It seemed a little bit. She's taking a big Swole, the number 3 woman in the AEW women's division. This was another, just great match for Big Swole, keeping her just in the women's division, always featured, always kind of showcased, other than just with the Britt Baker stuff. I think almost in the Shawn Spears way, but in reverse here. Again, just keeping her wins, keeping her number high in the women's division. So at the point that they're ready to pull the trigger and use more Big Swole, that'll be fantastic. And I thought Rochelle wasn't terrible for the sort of jobber position here. And, little things, maybe she was just like maybe slightly sloppy and maybe just a little work on the gear and stuff like that, but hard to compare to the amazing yellow Power Ranger look that we got from Big Swole. So, big dirty dancing finish with the pump kick. She really laid it into this girl. And I'd like to see more Dark matches from Swole, and hopefully even more so on Dynamite. We got a quick little interview with Alex Marvez talking to Brandy and Allie. This is just sort of furthering their sort of thing going on between the two of them, which is interesting. And I think this is a better place for Allie than what she was doing as the bunny character. There wasn't a lot to that. This feels a little bit more conniving or whatever, and if that's going to be what her gimmick is, it's sort of working here with the QT Marshall story, and we'll see what happens next. Speaking of next, we had Luther taking on Frankie Kazarian. The big thing everyone was talking about going into this, especially the commentary guys, were that it was Frankie Kazarian sort of joining the elite of All Elite Wrestling there with one of the first guys to get 20 plus wins alongside his SCU teammate with Scorpio, Skye, and Kenny Omega and Cody are the only other ones to have that many wins on their record books. So Kazarian, of course, got this win, got himself to the 20 books. Seemed like that's the way it was booked, or going to be in the end anyway, but it was interesting to see him sort of survive Luther, and that's the sort of different side of Luther we've got here. Him sort of, devastating people with interesting stuff. But then more the ref, him breaking the rules and that kind of stuff ending up being his demise. I wonder what's next for Luther here. It felt like they didn't bring him in specifically for Jimmy Havoc, but the two of them felt so tailored for each other that it's sort of hard to see what's sort of next for Luther here. So, I'd like to maybe see someone else maybe get pushed over in the hardcore gimmick. He could be sort of a Mick Foley type they could use here in AEW for maybe even some of the talent they have that they use specifically here on Dark. Maybe some of the jobbers, if they specifically pick someone they want to stand out in some sort of street fight. I specifically am a fan of a guy we'll get to in the next one, Brad Pierce, him and his gold boots. It's just, I'd love to see him in jeans and the gold boots, it'd be a pretty interesting street fight, I think, with Luther. So we'll wait and see what's next for Luther. He took the loss here to Frankie Kazarian. Frankie looked, like outsmarting the stronger, more evil character here, and got himself that 20+ win. Yes, leading into, we were getting the first sort of appearance of what we're going to see at Fyter Fest Day 2 with the Lucha Bros and Butcher and the Blade teaming up officially to take on. Okay, we've got Joe Alonzo, Brady Pierce. I keep getting his name wrong. I really enjoy this guy, but I'm sorry I got his name wrong. Brady Pierce, Tony Damani, and Fabu Andre taking on the Lucha Bros and the Butcher and the Blade. This was a quick one. It was sort of a lot of just getting the Butcher and the Blade synchronicity over, more so than dominance than anything else. They had a really, really fun finish where it was sort of the back suplex into the assisted power bomb that was on top of the backbreaker, and then Phoenix hitting the drop kick. Interesting to show that they're all definitely on the same page. A whole lot of zero fear going on from Butcher and the Blade and Lucha Bros going into their fight against the Young Bucks and FTR, and it'll be interesting to see how maybe the tags and that kind of stuff play into the story of the match going into that 8-man tag. Speaking of something else for Fyter Fest, we got to see Orange Cassidy in a very, very quick match taking on Will Hobbes. I think this was Will Hobbes' first match here in AEW. A big guy, but we certainly didn't get to see too much of him. He took a very quick Superman punch from Orange Cassidy. I think keeping Orange in people's minds, keeping them curious about what he could do next or what could happen in the Jericho match, especially with something so fast like this. You never know. So, cool to see when all of a sudden Orange Cassidy cares. Something crazy can definitely happen. Next match, certainly an interesting one, and nice to see sometimes when they mix things up here on AEW, especially on Dark. We had Shawn Dean taking on Michael Nakazawa. Now, Shawn Dean we've seen quite a few times on Dark, especially, but especially not against Michael Nakazawa, and haven't seen Michael in quite some time. So I wasn't sure if maybe this was going to be the stepping stone for Dean to finally get a showcased win, maybe, but no, instead it was the sort of typical fun comedy match we got from Michael Nakazawa, and Shawn played a good part in that. It makes me wonder why specifically they were trying to showcase Nakazawa. I mean, I don't think that's a bad thing. It's always good, like I said, to change things up, and someone we haven't seen showcased in a while, but like I say, if you listen to our radio show, I was sort of like semi predicting that I thought maybe him and he would be what Nyla Rose was going to be going after next, like heading into potential intergender feuds for her. Maybe this was a reason we showcased Michael Nakazawa. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Next match, which was probably my favorite one, I think, of this night. Well, the main event was good too, but I really, really enjoyed this one. Scorpio Skye taking on Serpentico. I want to make sure I get that name right too, because this guy is really fantastic. I'm always a bit of a sucker for a masked wrestler, especially if they have a bit more of an interesting sort of gimmick and character that they can pull off. And I think he's certainly young, a little green here or whatever, but fast-paced match that he had here with Scorpio Skye. I really enjoy Scorpio Skye's entrance music, the solo SCU music that he now has for himself. I think that's really cool, kind of showcasing again that he's definitely taking this solo run seriously, and that the other two guys are sort of focusing on themselves. This was definitely the longest match of the whole night, going around like 10 minutes or so. But fast-paced back and forth, definitely let Serpentico get a ton of moves off on Scorpio Skye, and I think when they do that, it really helps some of these dark talent that we see more repetitively, helps them escalate quite a little bit. So great to see that from Scorpio here, and hopefully more matches from him, especially on Dynamite. I'm excited to hopefully see him challenge for the TNT title or something like that. Would be totally something I want to see down the line. Capping things off, we had Evil Uno and Grayson from the Dark Order finally returning to tag team competition, taking on Peter Avalon and Brian Cutler. Now, the story kind of going into this was they'd offered Cutler and Avalon a opportunity to join the Dark Order, just take the pin, show that they were willing to, lean into what the Dark Order sort of cult aesthetic is or whatever, but they instead decided to take this match. And yeah, I mean, I'm a Dark Order fan from before it sort of blew up into this other stuff. I enjoy it now too, but the Dark Order originals that we had with just Evil Uno and Grayson, they're a fantastic tag team. They have great tandem tag team moves. They work very well together with Uno as the very specific type of heel, and then Grayson is just the powerhouse. Yeah, great to see them showcased here, especially on Dark. I think it's the perfect place for them sometimes, maybe just because of the name, but who knows. But yeah, I like to see them main eventing here, and I can't wait to see what they do at Fyter Fest tomorrow night as well. So yeah, all in all, I think another fantastic episode of Dark, really, really entertaining, especially if you were curious to see some of the talent that were going to be featured at Fyter Fest the next night. So yeah, definitely recommend checking it out. And thank you all for checking this out. This was an interesting sort of experiment, and we'll see if we do any more of these. So yes, we'll see you next time. Check us out, LowBlowRadio 887 on Twitter. Get on the conversation, and you can always like, share, and subscribe here on YouTube. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Now